Oak Island is a small island in Nova Scotia, Canada. At first sight, it looks like an ordinary piece of land surrounded by calm waters. It has trees, beaches, and the same peaceful beauty that you can see on many islands across the world. But Oak Island is not an ordinary island. For more than 200 years, this island has carried one of the biggest mysteries in human history. People from all over the world know its name because of the strange stories connected to it. The mystery is centered around one place on the island that is known as the Money Pit. The story of the Money Pit began in the year 1795. A young boy named Daniel McInnes was exploring the island. He noticed something unusual. The ground in one spot looked sunken, as if the earth had been disturbed a long time ago. He also saw marks on nearby trees that looked like rope had once been tied there. These signs made him believe that someone might have buried something underground. Excited by this thought, he called two of his friends, and together they started digging. What they discovered made them more curious. Just a few feet below the surface, they found a layer of wooden planks. They removed the planks and kept digging. After digging another 10 feet, they found another layer of wood. At 20 feet, they again hit a wooden platform. This repeated pattern of wood every 10 feet was not natural. It meant that somebody in the past had built something here carefully. It was not just a hole in the ground, it was a hidden structure. The boys believed that treasure had to be buried at the bottom. Their imagination ran wild. They thought about pirates, lost civilizations, and great riches. But as they dug deeper, the work became harder, and soon they could not continue on their own. Still, the story of their discovery spread in the community, and more people joined the search. Everyone hoped to uncover gold, silver, or something even more valuable. That was how the legend of Oak Island's Money Pit began. Over the years, many different groups tried to dig deeper into the pit. Each time they dug, they faced strange surprises. At 30 feet, more wood appeared. At 40 feet, there were layers of charcoal, clay, and even coconut fibers, materials that did not belong on a Canadian island. At 90 feet, searchers found a flat stone with mysterious markings. Nobody knew what the symbols meant, but one interpretation suggested it said, 40 feet below, 2 million pounds lie buried. The excitement only grew, but reaching that depth was not easy. Each time the diggers made progress, they were stopped by sudden flooding. Water would rush into the pit as though hidden tunnels had been designed to protect whatever was buried below. Even when powerful pumps were used, the water could not be controlled for long. It was almost as if the Money Pit had been designed to defend itself against intruders. This strange design led many to believe that what was buried there was no ordinary treasure. Ordinary treasure chests would not require such complex traps. These defenses suggested something far more valuable, something people in the past wanted to protect at any cost. Over time, theories about what lay hidden multiplied. Some said it was the treasure of Captain Kidd, the infamous pirate. Others said it was connected to the Templar Knights, who might have brought priceless relics to the New World. Others still believed it could be documents that could rewrite world history. But Oak Island is not only a story of treasure and mystery. It is also a story of danger and tragedy. Over the years, as different groups tried to dig into the Money Pit, accidents happened. Tunnels collapsed, water rushed in, and lives were lost. According to one of the oldest legends, the treasure would never be uncovered until 7 men had died searching for it. So far, 6 lives have already been lost in attempts to solve the mystery. Many believe that the curse of Oak Island is real. Despite all these dangers, the search for treasure has never stopped. Generations have passed, but people are still drawn to Oak Island. Among those who became fascinated by the story were 2 brothers, Rick and Marty Lagina. Rick was only 11 years old when he read an article about Oak Island in a magazine. The story captured his imagination. He dreamed that one day he would go to the island and uncover its secrets. For years he carried that dream in his heart. As he grew older, he told his brother about it, and together they decided that one day they would pursue the mystery. Turning this dream into reality was not easy. Excavating Oak Island required huge amounts of money, advanced equipment, and a team of experts. But the brothers were determined. Rick provided the passion and the vision, while Marty managed the funding and practical side of the project. Together, they gathered a strong team that included engineers, historians, archaeologists, and geologists. Their mission was not just to find treasure, but to uncover the entire history hidden beneath Oak Island. The work they planned was different from earlier efforts. In the past, searchers had relied on basic tools and simple digging. Rick and Marty's team, however, had access to modern technology. They used drones, ground-penetrating radar, 3D mapping, and powerful drilling equipment. They were determined to avoid the mistakes of the past. They wanted to explore the island carefully and scientifically, covering every possibility. Before starting, they created a complete map of the island. Drones flew above, lasers scanned the earth, and computers built detailed models of the underground structures. This allowed the team to see where tunnels might exist, where water traps could be located, and which areas held the best chance of discovery. It was the most prepared and advanced search Oak Island had ever seen. Marty invested millions of dollars into the effort. Heavy machinery was brought in. Special pumping systems were installed to deal with the water traps. The team expanded, with experts arriving from all over the world. The atmosphere on the island changed completely. It no longer felt like a casual treasure hunt. It felt like a large-scale mission, one that could make history. In the beginning, the digging went smoothly. The soil was removed, the machines worked well, and the team was full of energy. But soon, strange things began to happen. On the 3rd day of excavation, faint noises were heard coming from deep underground. At first, the team thought it was just the machines, but when the equipment was shut off, the noises continued. They sounded like metal striking metal, or like a large door slowly creaking open. Rick himself went down to listen. What he heard gave him chills. The sounds were real and unnatural. Marty quickly installed recording equipment, and when the sounds were played back later, they were even clearer. It seemed as if something was moving beneath the ground, something that was not supposed to be there. The strange events did not stop. At one point, a machine suddenly failed. The engineers examined it carefully, but there was no clear reason for the breakdown. Strangely, when the team shifted the digging site slightly, the machine began working again as if nothing had happened. Some members of the team started to whisper about unseen forces or strange energies beneath the ground. At night, some workers reported seeing shadows near the site. Others felt as if they were being watched, even when the area was empty. The atmosphere around the money pit became tense. Everyone knew Oak Island had always been mysterious, but now they began to suspect that this mystery was bigger and stranger than they had imagined. Still, Rick kept the team calm and focused. He reminded them that they were here to uncover the truth. He believed that whatever lay beneath Oak Island had remained hidden for centuries because it was meant to be discovered only at the right time. He felt that their team had been chosen for this mission. As they dug deeper, the discoveries became even more surprising. At 90 feet, strange colored stones appeared, covered with markings that looked like codes or symbols. They were not natural to the island and must have been placed there by human hands long ago. Then the digging uncovered a massive underground wall. It was so strong that even the heavy machines took hours to break through it. When part of the wall finally gave way, the team discovered a dark tunnel stretching ahead. A gust of cold air rushed out, as if the tunnel had been sealed for hundreds of years. The walls of the tunnel had markings unlike anything the team had seen before. Some believed the tunnel had been built by an ancient civilization with knowledge far ahead of its time. Others believed it was a passageway leading to hidden treasure. But the age of the stones suggested something much older and more mysterious than anyone expected. Rick decided they had no choice but to enter the tunnel. The team prepared carefully, carrying lights, cameras, and safety equipment. Step by step, they walked deeper inside, the tunnel stretching endlessly before them. Strange markings covered the walls, and the air was heavy with dampness and silence. Every step felt like entering into another world. Inside the tunnel, the air was damp and cold. The lights from the team's helmets reflected on the wet stones, creating long shadows that danced on the walls. Every sound echoed. Footsteps, the scraping of tools, even the breathing of the men. It felt as though the tunnel itself was alive, holding secrets that it did not want to give away. Rick led the way, his eyes fixed ahead, while Marty kept reminding everyone to stay cautious. After several meters, they reached a fork. Two narrow passageways opened in different directions. This was unexpected. Until then, the team believed they were following a single tunnel that led directly to the treasure. But now it seemed that whoever built these structures had created an entire network underground. Rick paused, trying to decide which way to go. The markings on the walls were examined carefully. One passage had carvings that looked like crosses, while the other had symbols resembling waves or water. They chose the passage with crosses, believing it might be a sign of religious origin. Slowly, they moved deeper. The tunnel narrowed until they had to crouch and move in single file. Suddenly, the ground beneath them felt unstable. The soil shifted slightly, and pebbles rolled away into the darkness. The team froze. Everyone knew the dangers of Oak Island. Cave-ins and sudden collapses had claimed lives in the past. But after checking the stability, they decided to continue carefully, step by step. Then came the first big discovery. Embedded in the wall was a wooden chest, sealed and covered in layers of hardened clay. The chest looked ancient, and the team's excitement soared. Could this finally be the treasure they had been searching for? They carefully removed it and carried it back to the surface, where it could be opened safely. The whole team gathered around as the chest was pried open. Inside, however, there were no gold coins or jewels. Instead, the chest contained bundles of parchment, rolled tightly and wrapped in oilcloth. The writing on them was faded, but clear enough to recognize. They were old manuscripts. Some appeared to be maps, others looked like coded messages. One historian on the team suggested that the parchments could be connected to the Templar Knights. The Templars were a powerful order during the Middle Ages, rumored to have discovered great treasures and secrets in Jerusalem during the Crusades. When the order was suppressed, much of their wealth and knowledge vanished. Could Oak Island have been their hiding place? While the documents were being studied, work continued in the tunnels. The second passage, the one with water-like carvings, was explored next. This tunnel turned out to be extremely dangerous. After only a short distance, they hit water. It wasn't just a small puddle, it was a rushing flow that poured in with force. Pumps were brought in, but as fast as the water was removed, more seemed to pour in. This reminded everyone of the stories of hidden flood tunnels designed to protect the money pit. It was clear that whoever built this system had planned carefully, using nature itself as a defense against intruders. Despite the flooding, divers were eventually sent into the water-filled passage. With underwater cameras, they tried to see where the tunnel led. What they found shocked them. The tunnel did not end. It opened into a massive underwater chamber. The camera caught glimpses of stone walls, carefully placed, as if forming a secret room. Something metallic reflected the light, suggesting something of man-made origin.
Light, but the visibility was too poor to identify it clearly.
This discovery suggested that something of great importance was hidden in that chamber. Back on the surface, the analysis of the parchments produced another breakthrough. One of the maps showed the outline of Oak Island with a series of markings that matched the locations of known features: the Money Pit, Smith's Cove, and other dig sites. But there were also additional marks in areas that had not yet been explored. The team realized that the island itself might have been designed as a giant puzzle. Each feature was not random, but part of a larger plan. This theory was supported by aerial scans of the island. From above, some of the clearings and natural shapes aligned in ways that suggested geometric patterns. Lines drawn between certain points formed triangles and crosses. It was as if the entire island had been turned into a coded message. Rick believed this was intentional. Whoever buried the treasure wanted to ensure that only those who understood the code could find it. The discovery of geometric patterns reminded many of the Templars again, since they were known for using secret symbols and architecture based on sacred geometry. The possibility that Oak Island was part of a Templar project became stronger with each new finding. But this theory also raised questions. If the Templars had buried something here, what was it? Gold? Holy relics? Secret documents that could change history? The excitement of the team grew, but so did the dangers. On one occasion, while drilling near one of the marked locations, the drill bit suddenly struck something hard. When it was pulled back up, fragments of gold-colored metal clung to the tip. Everyone held their breath. Was this the first physical evidence of actual treasure? Further drilling revealed pieces of chain and fragments of pottery buried deep underground. These were not natural. They were clearly placed there by human hands long ago. The findings renewed the belief that Oak Island's mystery was not just legend. Real artifacts were being uncovered, each pointing to a much bigger story. But the deeper they went, the harder it became. Machines continued to break down mysteriously. Water poured in from hidden traps, and the island seemed to fight against being uncovered. Some workers whispered again about the curse of Oak Island. 6 men had already died in past centuries. Would another life be taken before the truth was revealed? At night, the team gathered to talk about their discoveries. Some believed they were close to uncovering treasure beyond imagination. Others thought the real treasure was not gold, but knowledge, proof of a forgotten chapter in human history. Rick himself often spoke about how the island felt like a living mystery, one that chose when and how to reveal its secrets. He reminded everyone that patience was essential because the truth would come out only in time. The story of Oak Island reached far beyond Nova Scotia. News outlets, researchers, and treasure hunters from across the globe followed each development. People sent letters offering theories or claiming to have clues. Some even traveled to the island hoping to see it for themselves. The legend of the Money Pit grew stronger with each discovery, and Oak Island became one of the most famous mysteries in the world. For the Lagina brothers, this was more than just a project. It was a lifelong dream. They had turned childhood fascination into real action, spending years of effort and millions of dollars. And while they had not yet uncovered the legendary treasure, they had already succeeded in proving that Oak Island was no ordinary place. The artifacts, tunnels, manuscripts, and symbols all confirmed that something extraordinary had happened there in the past. Still, the biggest question remained unanswered. What exactly was hidden beneath Oak Island? Was it gold, relics, or knowledge that could change everything we thought we knew about history? Each discovery brought them closer, but the full truth still lay buried in the depths, protected by traps, tunnels, and mysteries that had lasted for centuries. The more the team explored, the clearer it became that Oak Island was not just a place where someone had buried treasure. It was a carefully designed mystery. The tunnels, the flood traps, the symbols, and the strange artifacts all pointed to planning and intelligence. It was as if the builders wanted the treasure to be protected for hundreds of years or perhaps forever. One of the strangest discoveries came from Smith's Cove, an area on the edge of the island. While excavating there, the team uncovered wooden structures buried deep in the sand. At first, they thought it was just debris left from old treasure hunters. But when the wood was dated, the results shocked them. It was from the 1500s, long before the island was officially settled by Europeans. This meant that people had been working on Oak Island centuries